morning, Saugus. I'm Vicky Valterierra, and today is Friday, January 18th.
And I'm Hannah Rutter, and this is SNN.
For today's fact of the day, we thought we'd let you know that vending machines kill more people than sharks. Think about that.
Please stand for the flag salute.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may now be seated.
CCR classes begin next week, and there are still seats available. If you are interested, you can see Ms. Dahlquist in the counseling office.
If you are between the ages of 16 and 19 and want a job, the Youth Employment Services Program will have its spring session from February 27th to May 24th. Applications are available online at the website listed below.
The Winter Formal will be held at Saugus on Saturday, February 9th from 7 to 11 p.m. Tickets are now on sale in the ASB office. The dance is included in the dance pack, or $30 with an ASB card and $35 without. Ticket prices will increase every week. The dance is semi-formal.
Now let's go to Jacob Solarzano with your sports news.
Good morning, Saugus. I'm Jacob Solarzano with your sports news. Boys soccer plays Valencia today at Valencia. Frosh plays at 3:15, JV plays at 5, and varsity plays at 6:30. Girls soccer plays at Saugus today, also against Valencia. Varsity plays at 1:15, and JV plays at 3:15. Also, Frosh will play tomorrow against Valencia at Saugus at 10 a.m. Girls basketball plays against Valencia today. Frosh plays at Saugus at 6:30. JV plays at Saugus at 3:30, and varsity plays at Valencia at 5. Boys basketball also plays against Valencia today. Frosh plays at Saugus at 5, JV plays at Valencia at 3:30, and varsity plays at Valencia at 6:30. That's all for me. Now here's a message from our Blue Crew leaders.
I'm Miles, and we're your Blue Crew leaders. We got a game today at Valencia. Girls play at 5, boys play at 6:30.
Our theme is blackouts, so make sure you come and wear all your black clothing in support of boys and girls.
It's kind of a big deal. If we win today, we tie for first in league, so be there.
Make sure you're there so we can get this done.
Let's go!
The theme for tonight's game is Blackout.
Bring Change to Minds High School program gives teens a platform to share their voice and raise awareness around mental health. Their goal is to empower Saugus High School students to educate one another and our community, and to create culture of peer support within our schools. If you are interested in becoming a member of Bring Change to Minds, there will be a club kickoff meeting January 28th in the NPR at lunch. You can see Miss Meza in room 11 in L1204 or Miss Monteleone in the counseling office if you have questions.
Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Dr. King served as one of the driving forces of the American Civil Rights Movement. Here's more.
But one day, this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Martin Luther King Jr., born 90 years ago on January 15th, is the only American individual to have a holiday dedicated to him. Before becoming one of the most influential men in American history, a young Dr. King had to endure a childhood of segregation and blatant racism. As he grew up through high school and college, MLK developed a proficiency in public speaking. Looking at that and coupling it with the pride he took in his father's protests against segregation, correlations between his childhood and civil rights work are very clear. King studied and received his doctorate and PhD in systemic theology, and during his time in college, he married his wife and had 4 children. King's name spread like wildfire after the Montgomery bus boycotts, which were led by him and lasted over a full year. Shortly after the boycott, King formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which dedicated itself to the advancement of rights for African Americans. As King grew in popularity, his civil rights protests grew in numbers. Sit-ins, marches, public protests, and media coverage all worked towards advancing civil rights for African Americans. A popular campaign was his work in Birmingham, one of the most segregated cities in the nation. There, crucial events for the advancement of civil rights occurred, such as Bull Connor's use of fire hoses and police dogs in Dr. King's letters from a Birmingham jail. In 1963, he delivered his most well-known work of all time, his I Have a Dream speech.
Transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
1 year later, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 passed, and King's efforts turned towards registering African American voters. In an effort to get more voters in the South, MLK went to Selma, Alabama to lead a peaceful march, but he was met with tear gas and cattle prods. Luckily for King, the American public and government were slowly changing, and the National Guard was ordered to protect the marchers from Selma to Montgomery. That same year, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 passed. King continued to work as a civil rights activist and leader for 3 more years, including protests such as the March on Washington. On April 14, 1968, his work was ended early when he was shot by James Earl Ray. King was one of the most influential men of his time, earning a Man of the Year in 1963 from Times Magazine, a Nobel Prize in 1964. And 9 years after his death, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In the 1980s, Martin Luther King's birthday became a national holiday, making him the only American to have a holiday wholly in their dedication.
Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Martin Luther King quite literally changed the course of American history. That's all for today. I'm Vicky Valterierra. Stay tuned for SNN Radio and Saugus Today.
And I'm Hannah Rutter. Have a great day and a great 3-day weekend. We will see you on Tuesday.